You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
Good evening and happy May 1st. Welcome to the Sporting Time Show. I am Doug Thompson and I am very pleased to introduce Allie Hennard, who will be joining the show as our ST Originals correspondent. Allie, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and just get back into sports. You know, since the pandemic and everything, I've missed it.
Well, you and I had an opportunity to work in the same proximity, right? We talk sports a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm very excited about the ST Originals because you are going to be focusing on very unique people and storylines.
And a lot of the stories, too, are things that a lot of people haven't heard of. And it's kind of going to dig deep into those stories and not just teams or, you know, athletes, but it's going to encompass all of it together. And I think it's awesome.
You know, our first ST Original, very, very interesting because I had no idea that this was happening, that this sport was going on at a local high school because I've heard of it nationally and it's becoming bigger and bigger.
Oh, well, the eSports League across the country is just growing and growing. And I spoke with Bowling Green High School, Coach Widener. He's their eSports coach. They started this last year, but basically kind of kicking it off again this year. And they have four athletes on the team. And it's really cool because it's not a mainstream sport that you hear. It's not basketball or football, and it's not something that you can just go to a field or a court and watch, you know, but it's fun to watch. I was sitting there while they were playing and I got excited and I know nothing about it, but now I do, so.
Well, I know you're talking with the commissioner of the Mid-South Conference that some of the conference universities have actually created e-sport rooms and it's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, back when I was playing, I was just doing Pong where you had the two, right on the TV. So it has come a long way, but it's going to be very fascinating. And
apparently it's lucrative. There's a lot of money in it. I mean, they were saying that there's scholarships for student athletes for college, and some of them can go and play professionally.
Yeah, it's amazing how far it has come, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the first ST Originals presented by Allie Hennard.
Drop in.
It's more than just a game.
I mean, we're gonna face this in the postseason at some point. So treat it like a postseason game right now. Go all out. Let's get the 2 goals.
It's more than just a hobby.
Anything that kids want to be a part of, our school district's going to support it. And I like working with young people, so I was excited to be a part of it as well.
The esports world has grown exponentially over the years. High school esports teams becoming nearly as common as your tennis or baseball team.
It's growing and it's accessible to almost anybody that has any form of console or computer. And especially Rocket League is super easy for people to understand.
In 2018, the KHSAA began to sanction esports on the varsity level.
Kind of put it on Twitter, like, you know, at Bowling Green High School, eventually we will have this next season. And one of our students, Josh West, came to me and said, hey, if you're serious, like, I'll get the team together.
Purple Rain is the Bowling Green High School esports varsity team, consisting of 4 players and Coach Craig Widener.
Coach has been incredible. You know, it's extremely tough for anyone who isn't super comfortable in esports to take that step into the deep end and put themselves out there. And Widener's done an incredible job, and he's embraced it. He gets excited back here. Yeah. Oh, wow. He is very passionate about it as well as us, and we couldn't ask for a better coach.
Playing the game Rocket League, this team competes at least once a week.
Well done.
No matter their experience or skill set, esports is all-inclusive.
It doesn't require you to run a 4.340. It doesn't require you to be able to jump 36 inches. You don't have to be able to kick a ball for 60 yards. It really is something anybody can do.
Generationally speaking, esports might not be mainstream for your parents and grandparents, but for these kids, that's not the case.
These boys watch their favorite Rocket League players online. They sell out stadiums for Fortnite tournaments and Madden tournaments with 60,000 people. There's $1 million prizes. I think anytime you can enter a tournament and win $1 million, you can't say it's not mainstream.
For these student athletes, they're able to put on a jersey with their school's name. and it allows them to be a part of something bigger than themselves.
They're not just playing for fun. They're not playing with just with their friends. It's representing Bowling Green High School, and to the 4 guys I have, that's a big deal, and they take a lot of pride in that.
That's a really good look.
Reporting for the Sporting Times, I'm Allie Hennard. We'll be right back with more of the Sporting Times show.
You're watching the Sporting Times show on WNKY 40 NBC.
Welcome back. One of the greatest things about the past 17 years at the Sporting Times is the fact that I get to interview very unique student athletes. And our next guest, well, he's played in the biggest stage in the Little League, not once, but twice at the Little League World Series in Williamsport. He is also a fantastic golfer. He also is a left-handed pitcher with a 0.88 ERA for the Bowling Green Purples. I'd like to bring to the show senior left-handed pitcher Carson Myers. Carson, welcome to the show. You got a huge resume.
Thank you for having me.
A huge resume, and you and I are going to spend a couple segments talking, and thank you for being here. Let's start off with going back in time a little bit. When you were able to go to Williamsport, not once, but twice, do you reflect much on that today, and what was that experience like for you?
You know, it was very humbling. You know, just being there with all my friends, and for 1 year being there with my dad. It's a great experience and just a fun experience overall.
Carson, was it, being as young as you were and going to the Little League World Series, were you aware of the fact that you were playing in front of 20,000 people, or were you young enough not to bother you at the time?
You know, when I first got there, you know, we had a couple practices, and you know, I thought it'd be a decent crowd. But when we got to the West game, our 2015 year, and then the Mid-Atlantic game, our 2016 year, I mean, I was nervous. I mean, it was just nerve-wracking, and it was a lot to take in at 11 and 12.
They say the experience, yes, you play baseball, but you also meet international baseball players. How was that for you, and do you still keep in contact with any of those players that you met during that time?
So at Williamsport, they had these dorms, and we were the buddy dorm of Australia. And I met a couple of the Australians. I do not keep in touch with them, but when I was going into 8th grade after 2016, I was a little bit, but some of the kids that were in the United States, I still do keep in contact with them.
You know, you mentioned your dad, and of course, your dad played SEC baseball. He also coaches college baseball. I mean, you grew up around baseball. That had to be an incredible experience for you to just be in the dugout and be around those college players.
Yes, sir. It was just awesome because I looked up to every single one of them and learned so much every single day.
So, you know, we've got about a couple minutes left in this segment, but you know, we're going to get into baseball. But you're a pitcher. You're also one of the best hitters on the team. Currently, you're a senior. You're hitting over 400. But you also are an excellent golfer with a 5 or 6 handicap. What got you interested in golfing?
You know, I always thought it was fun just to get up there and swing as hard as I could and try to hit a golf ball as far as I can. And I have family that is pretty in deep with golf, and you know, they got me into it, and once I started picking it up, I enjoyed it more and more.
So did you? They say you get hooked on golf. Once you start playing and you enjoy. Were you like that? Where you wanted to go to the course as often as you could and play as often as you could?
Yes, sir. So after summer ball with baseball, let's see, like late July, I was probably at the golf course pretty much every day for about 6 hours. And it was just, I may not play the entire 6 hours. It was just more so being out there and being in that environment, which was just awesome for me.
You know, we've got about 30 seconds left in the segment. Quickly, I know that you said Dustin Johnson was one of the guys that you looked up to in the PGA, but also Phil Mickelson. Just kind of talk about that for a second.
You know, that obviously they're professional golfers, but the one thing that I can say about them is that when they have struggles, they can come back so quickly. And I just like that, like the motivation that even if you do bad, you can always come back from it.
All right, stay tuned real quick. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, more with Carson Myers right here on the Sporting Time Show, WNKY NBC 40. Welcome back. My special guest is senior left-handed pitcher from Bowling Green High School, Carson Myers. And Carson, we were talking a little bit about golf. I'm interested to find out because we were doing one of your games and I was talking to our broadcast analyst, Lucas Forbes, who you know. I asked him, did he think that a golf swing and a baseball swing was a lot different, and we kind of talked a little bit about that, but I want to ask you, is there much that you have to change or think about when you're swinging a bat versus swinging a golf club?
So for baseball, I've played it so long, so it's mostly muscle memory when I go up there and swing a bat, but since golf is fresh with me, I have to spend a good amount of time just getting the feel back for things and making sure I'm, making good contact with the club face.
How much time do you spend in the batting cage? I think right now you're at 444 batting average, fantastic. But how much time do you spend in the cage?
Since the season's picked up, it's lessened a little bit. But before the season, I try to be in there every day, about 2 hours a day, just working on mechanics and making sure that muscle memory was consistent throughout the days.
Interesting watching you pitch the other night. I had mentioned in the intro you have a 0.88 ERA. You're throwing in the 90s. You're headed to the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Talk a little bit about your development as a pitcher because you're taller, you're slender, but you can put the heat behind the ball. Just kind of talk about the development, also the influence, obviously, that your dad has had on your career.
So my dad and my dad's dad have kind of engraved that if you want to do something in life, you have to work hard for it. And always as a kid, I've always wanted to play college baseball and follow behind my dad's footsteps. And about my junior year, I hit a little bit of a growth spurt, got to like 6 foot, and I realized that if I'm going to be able to do this, I need to start getting stronger, eating better, and, just becoming a better baseball player overall. And that takes so many things into consideration, and my dad has just been there so much, and it's helped me so much. He's given me constructive criticism daily, and it's just helped me and helps me push every single day to be better.
Carson, obviously huge advantage, with your dad's experience, but as a player, you can throw the heat. There's been a lot of conversation about players beginning to throw too many off-speed, too many curve pitches too early in their career. How has your development been as far as how many different pitches you like to throw?
So when I was younger, I didn't throw as hard, so I had to have something other than a fastball to get away. So like a curveball or changeup. But since I've gained a velo and gotten stronger, I like to dominate the first pitch strike, whether it's majority fastball or with a curveball. But there's a lot of really good hitters within this district and region. that you can't just throw straight fastballs or even sometimes curveballs. You got to develop either a curveball, a cutter, or a changeup to really maximize your potential of like winning that at bat.
How much relief did you have when you found out that, look, we're going to have a baseball season this year, you know, we're good to go, we're going to be able to play?
You know, last year it was a big Debbie Downer. You know, I had to keep working, and it was just very hard to contact, you know, college coaches. You know, I had to send several emails. But this year when we got the news, I told everybody, and just, we gotta like live in the moment and like don't let this slip. And you know, that means being safe with the COVID protocol and just being overall as a team, like working together to be good.
Carson, we got about 30 seconds. You've got an excellent team this year, a lot of depth in pitching. What do you like most about this Purples team?
I would say the brotherhood. We can always pick each other up whenever someone gets out or something like that. We're always right there. And, you know, I just like the fact that we all want to compete and we all have the energy to win big, even against some of the best teams and maybe some of not the best teams. And we all
Carson,
have that energy every single day.
Carson, thank you very much for joining me. Good luck for the rest of this season. We'll be there watching. Thank you again. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Allie Hennard and I wrap things up on this Sporting Time show right here on WNKY NBC 40. Welcome back. Allie, that was really fascinating, and what a great way, what a great story to kick off the ST Originals. You know, Coach Widener, great soccer coach, and he's back as the head soccer coach now for the boys at Bowling Green. I mean, his resume is incredible, but he seems like he's having a blast doing this as well.
Oh, he had so much fun, and he was getting me excited whenever, you know, they would make a goal or anything like that. He would jump up and scream, and then I started screaming. And I mean, it was fun. It was. He's a great guy, and the athletes really love him. They really spoke highly of him.
I remember when, you know, my son, who is 35 now, was playing the esports thing, and he was doing soccer, and it's amazing at how good these, they're not kids, but these athletes, student athletes, can be at playing these games, right? And they can start at the age of 5, 6. It's incredible.
And they do it just for fun, you know, with their friends and everything. And it was funny, one of the athletes I asked, you know, why did you decide to join this? And he just said, I just like playing video games. And I was like,
great.
well, I mean, they just do it because they love it.
That's really fun. Well, congratulations on the first installment of ST Originals.
Thank you.
And looking forward to having more to come. So
Absolutely.
We don't know. We don't know what's going to be coming down the pipe, but I know it's going to be interesting. Yesterday, I had put together some information on high school baseball in the 4th region. I thought it was interesting to look at. I went back over a 20-year span. It would have been 21 years had we had a season last year. But I looked at the 4th region teams that won 4th region championships and how many of those 4th region teams were in the championship game, right? And it was interesting to look at Bowling Green and South Warren have both won 4 4th region championships in baseball. Of course, South Warren has had a shorter amount of time to achieve that.
Right.
And then Franklin Simpson has won 2. Warren Central has won 2. Allen County has won 2. And then Warren East, Barron, Glasgow, Greenwood, and Russell County have all had 1 4th region championship. But the interesting part, I thought, was the teams that have been in the championship game. And go ahead and read the first couple.
Bowling Green's had 10 appearances in the 4th region, and then Russell County has 6. I mean, 10 times over the course of those 20 years.
Yeah.
That's 50% of the time, you know, they're making it there. That's awesome. And then, you know, South Warren with 5 appearances, and Greenwood with 4, Logan County with 2, and also Franklin Simpson with 2.
So the list got really short, right, over the past 20 years. But the one thing that stood out to me was Russell County. That's a team that we hear a lot about. We kind of joke they're kind of like Bigfoot. You hear a lot about them, but you never see them because they're so far away.
Right.
But Russell County, year in and year out, really puts together an incredible baseball team. Obviously, they only had one championship in 2009, but they have 6 appearances, the second best in the 4th region. Logan County, Franklin Simpson, like you had said, just so good. So I thought that was interesting. And then, you know, fast forward to baseball this season, Russell County has had 11 straight wins this season, and they're second in the 4th region, so they're doing very well.
I think they're a big contender to make it to that championship game again.
They could be. They're going to have to go through one of the 4th region teams, and South Warren has won 10 straight, and they're a young team. And, you know, Franklin Simpson has won 6 straight wins. I recently got to watch Warren East baseball, and they're a very young team, but very good team. And then Greenwood has won 3 of their last 4. So you're beginning to see some of these teams get separation from the middle of the pack.
Right.
I think it's going to be an exciting postseason.
Oh, I do too.
For sure.
Well, you think how many wins in a row you said Warren East is a younger team, but
yeah, they've lost 3 straight, but
right,
they're very good.
And I think it might be like a sleeper team where, you know, people might not expect it, you know, once you get in the game, and I think they could really maybe upset somebody.
Well, one thing about the way baseball is set up, if you have an ace and you throw the ace against a top-seeded team, there's always a chance that you can get that one off and get that victory. We also need to mention, we only have about 30 seconds left, South Warren Ladies Spartan Softball ranked #1 in the state, undefeated.
Incredible.
Undefeated. Coach Reynolds is doing a great job, but you also have Warren East, Philip McKinney. You've got a lot of teams out there, Barron County. We'll get into that next week. But thank you very much, Carson Myers. Allie, great seeing you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much.
Everybody have a fantastic week. Have a great weekend. For Doug Thompson, Allie Hendard, and Taryn Johnson, he'll be back next week. Have a great weekend.